I'm Becca and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make your own little sweetie dispenser. Now this is a Christmas theme because I'm making them for a Christmas fair, but you can do them in whatever colour you want. And this is just a little flap. You'd fill it with your favourite sweets in here. Sorry for the noise outside, I think one of the neighbours is revving their motorbike. So you'd fill it all with your sweets in there. And then this would be your little flap. This is your little handle, and you pull it down and you just take your sweets out from there like you do when you go to the pick and mix in the shops, and it will only come down, you know, when you're taking them out from here. Now I've put some widgets in on the side so when it's full you can see all the way at the top, and as it's getting lower and lower and lower, that just means, yeah, I'm running out of sweets, I need to top it up. So that's what that's for, and I've got one on either side. So let's get started and I'll show you how to make your own sweet dispenser. So the first way that we're going to make our sweetie dispenser is just using one whole piece of A3 card. This is 300 GSM card. Where did I get this one from? This was from Hobbycraft. I have used 210 GSM, and I think I got that one from, it's not got the label in anymore, so I can't double check where that's from. But this is the Hobbycraft one that I'm using, so yeah, that's what I've got. And then once I've done this version with it, I'm going to show you how to use just A4 card instead, because not everybody's going to necessarily have A3 card. So I've written the marks on so that hopefully you can see a bit better on the video. I can't tell if you can see them right at the minute, staring at the little screen on the camera. So you want it buttered up to your true measurement edge. If you're using one of the Crafter's Companion box making boards, the left hand side is the true measurement and the right hand side is the measurement with just a little bit, and that's what does the boxes. But if you've got any regular scoring boards, just make sure you're up at your true measurement side. So you want to start with the long edge right buttered up to the edge, and then want to score at 3 3/4 inches, then at 5 1/2 inches, 8 1/4 and 11. Then you want to turn your card around so that the little flap here that we've just made is at the bottom. Butt it up against the edge, and then we want to score at 3/4 of an inch all the way down, and then at 3 3/4 all the way down. Then we want to turn it so that the little flap is at the top. Get my notes out of the way. And then we want to score at 1 inch, 3 3/4 inches and 4 3/4. And now those are just all of our score marks, and whenever you're doing it, don't press too hard to start with in one full go. Just go over it a few times, which I've already done beforehand, so I hope you won't watch me do it, because you don't want to tear your card. Now when you're doing this sort of thing, when you're stretching the fibres of the card, you're pushing it down into it when you first score it. So when we fold it over to burnish our score marks, you're stretching the card fibres. So they start out like this, you push them down when you score them, so then when you're folding them away again, it stretches them out so the card doesn't tear. So that's just the reason why I turn it over when I'm doing all this scoring. So what you want to do now is just fold and burnish all the lines that you can, because we're going to have some little ones that we're not going to be able to. Oh, and I think I've just, yeah, I made a mistake there. Hang on, get my board back in. See, even those ones that have been doing it a long time make mistakes. This last one, this 4 3/4, it just wants to be in the first two sections here. So if you do what I've just done, we want it in these two. So I'm just going to push back along the line and push the card back into place. Now you're not going to see any mistake if you've done that, because we're going to be decorating it up. So this is the second take of me doing this tutorial. I did it on the last one as well. So imagine that's the first time we're telling you to do it. You want your 4 3/4 score line, you just want it down to the second score line here, the rest you don't want it on. So now I'm just going to fold and burnish all of my lines, so I'll speed that up so that it's not too boring for you. all my little notes from the outside, but I can rub them off or they'll get covered up anyway. So what I've done is I've made myself a template for whenever I'm making this. So essentially it was that way around when I've done it, because this has still got the score lines and I haven't burnished it. So if you make sure this is the little flap that you've got at the top, so if you basically marry it up like that way, so this is what we're going to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in front of me and basically draw the same things on for you so you can see as I'm going along. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a little sort of gluing flap here. So from this point of intersection here where we've done that score down, you know, the first two, we're going to go from this corner here, but we're only going to go about halfway up. Okay, and then with this at this point of intersection here, we're going to, in fact no, that one goes there from the middle of that one, looking at it now. So and then from the middle of that one wants to come all the way up to this point of intersection here. This is going to be a gluing flap, and then we want to take a wedge off here, and from this point of intersection here, from the, when you do it you'll have your columns here, and then this is going to be a gluing flap, and then we go down to the next one. So we're coming here where we've got our bottom one, so we're going to have yeah, there, that one from this point of intersection here. So we're going to go down a little bit from there. I usually probably do it about an inch or so, just for I've got a decent gluing flap. Now these ones are what I'm calling the awkward flaps, because you've got to sort of try and imagine looks a bit like a funnel. So if you just come down a little bit here on both, so instead of just meeting them, then we want to extend this out, and this is going to be the bit that stops the flap opening up altogether and all the sweets falling out. So on the opposite side here we're going to do exactly the same. Now whenever I do this I always end up trimming off a little bit more when I do it, but it's better off just giving you a bit extra room so you can cut more off when it comes to it than cutting too much off to start with and then you're kicking yourself because you've not got enough space for your flap on it. Right, so from this point of intersection again we're doing what we've done on this side, so going up and up there from this point here, because this is a square. I'm hoping you can see the lines on the screen better than what I'm saying. Just going across, and then yeah, we've gone down from there, and then we'll be cutting there. Is it that one? No, not cutting that one, ignore me. See, this is why I make myself a template, because I think I know which bit I'm cutting and then no. Right, so it's this bit here that we're going to be cutting away. So along there, all this little bit here is going to be cut away, and then we're going to be cutting, yeah, there, so it'll be going up on that part. Where's the next one? Yeah, so we'll be cutting down this one. So, and again, all this is going to be cut away. And then on the opposite side, we've got our other section here where this part here is going to be our lid. So we're going to be cutting down this score line. And then we're going to make a flap here in this box. So we're going to just do it at an angle, like we've done before. There we go. And then we're going to do it on this section as well, and then come up to this point of intersection here. So we're going to make our flap, and then from this one, so the same. So you want in both sides to be exactly the same, and then we're going to cut from this score line all the way along here. And you can just take a little bit of a wedge off there, because that's going to be another gluing flap. So we're going to take all that away. Okay, so that's all the pieces that you are going to need to cut out. So when you're doing it, if you cut down the centre of the score line, that's when you get the truest measurement that you've been when you're scoring. So go straight down. When you do it like if you're using embossing boards and things like that, I like to leave the embossing on, but when you're doing construction, you need to get the you know, the truest measurement on. So I'm going to work through this and fast forward it so it's not too boring, and I'll talk to you again in a second. So I've got that all cut out. Now if you turn it up, and you can see you've just got a little bit of fuzzy edging on from where you've cut. Don't worry about it. We're going to be covering this up anyway, so you can get that nice neat edge. So just so what's going to happen is we'll fold this over. So we've got our little gluing flap here. We will be laying that one flat and turning that over and gluing it. But we're not going to do that yet, because if you're wanting to cut some windows out like I've done, it's easier to do it once it's decorated and it's flat. You can't do it once it's all stuck together and, you know, like this, because you'd end up cutting through everything. So I'm going to go and get some A4 card now, and I'll show you the other way of doing it, and then we'll get cracking with it. Okay, so to make the sweet dispenser just using A4 card, these are the pieces that you're going to need. So the three large sides, you need it to be 9 inches by, what did it do? 8 1/4, and you need to score that, if I can get my tool. I thought it was all prepared for now, switching the camera back on, and score it at 2 3/4 inches and at 5 1/2 inches, and that's going to be the three tall sides that we're going to need. And then the fourth side, which is the side where your sweets are going to come out, that's 4 inches by 8 inches, and on the short side score at 3 1/4 inches and 3 1/2, and then turn it that way, and then score at 1 inch all the way down, just on that one side. And then for the top, you're wanting a square that is 3/4 by 3/4, and then you want to score at 1/2 inch on each side. So just score one side, turn it round, score one side, turn it round, and just do it that way. And then the bottom, the mechanism part, it wants to be 4 1/4 inches by 4 3/4 inches. And along the 4 1/4 inch side, you want to score at 1/2 inch, and then down at 3 1/4 inches, and then turn it so that it's this way around, and you want to score at 1 inch and 3 3/4 inches, and that's just the bottom part. So it's going to look the exact same as what the other one is, it's just doing it in a different sort of a way. So again, all you need to do is all your So I've got them all done. Sorry for the glare on the mat, I've got to zoom out a little bit more with me doing a paper dispenser to what I'm usually used to. So on the piece that's going to be our foreside where the sweets are going to come out, what we need to do, we need to do some cutting now. So on this side we want to, I'll zoom in a little bit while I'm doing this part. So just take it sort of from the middle, but don't go all the way up to the line of intersection there, you just want to take it to about halfway. Just like that. And then you want to take from that point, but then go all the way up to the point of intersection where the lines cross over, and then you just want to cut this off. And then this part is going to stick to the inside of the box when we pop it all together. So you can snip that up there, get that off, and then you can take it off, but I just like to have that for reinforcement, so you've just got that little extra. So that will go onto our box like this, and then when it glues together that one will stick to the other side. So, and then on this part, which is the mechanism part that I told you about, so I've tried to write all the numbers on and things like that, so if you want to take a screenshot of that then you can do, and then you know where your line's going to be. So have the small flap facing you, we just want to go from this sort of angled point to the line of intersection, and same on that side, and then rotate it so you've got one of the big flaps facing you, and then I'm just going to go across from here to the line of intersection, so I've got there, and then I'm going to do the same on here, and then I'm going to snip some of this off. So this is just a gluing fab, you can leave it on, but I want to cut down on some of the bulk because we're going to be cutting the windows and the sides of it, so we'll just cut that off a bit. Now this is the bit with the funny little bit that's going to keep our sweets from all falling out. So I'm sort of going, tuck it into sort of thirds. I'm just going up and across, up and across, and this is going to be the front flap, which stops the sweets coming out of the front, and then turn it round the other way and do exactly the same. That's the third part, and then this is just going to be the lid. So on every side of this you just want to go at an angle to the point of intersection on both sides, rotate it and do the same. This is just creating our little glue flaps, and the flap that's going to be at the front that you will fold into your box for when you're filling it up. Okay, so I'll zoom out a little bit more now, and you can see what I'm doing. So we'll put the main part of the box together first. So you can either go from this side or this side, it's up to you. So again, when you're doing construction, the wet glue is always best, just so that it soaks into the fibres of the cardstock. If you're going to use a tape to do it, I would say use red liner tape, but I just prefer using my liquid glue. Plus you get a little bit more of a wiggle room, so you know that if you've not got it exactly lined up, you know that you're going to be able to move it. Whereas if you use a red liner tape or any other tape, once it's stuck, you can't move it around. So just make sure you've got it all lined up and in edge with that. Just going to take a little bit of that off. Okay, so that's our four sides. And so this one, which is our mechanism part, is what we're going to need. So when this one folds over, it needs to be opposite. So it needs to be, if you've got your card like this, have it on the second panel, And we're going to just put some glue on this back flap here. I'm just going to butt it up to the line, press it down. Now if you're using this collal glue and any squidges out from the side, another technical term, squidges, you can just rub away at it. It's a solvent based rather than a water based glue, and so just rubbing away at it, it will just, as you can see, it's balling up. And like with PVA glue, you know, if you've ever got it on your hands as a kid and you sit and wait for it to dry and peel it off, or maybe that's just me. I used to like doing that in school. That's something you didn't really need to know, but there you go. That's what it is, and the reason I prefer using this glue compared to a water-based glue is because the water-based one can make your paper and card warp, and that's when you get those ripples in it. So if your kids have used PVA at school on a picture and they bring it home and it's all lumpy bumpy, that's why. So I'm going to turn it around the other way, and then our square that we've just done the same on either side, we're just going to pop it at the top of this one. So again, glue on one of the flaps, there we go. Now the other thing that you can do is, because this is going to be the part that's going to get most wear, I like to reinforce it. I can't remember whether if I said when I did the first one. It's been a few days since I filmed that one, so I'm just going to show you again just in case I didn't do it. So I've just got a piece of cardstock, and I'm going to create another piece that covers this, and that way we can have it so that it has got that extra reinforcement on the joins, wherever it's going to go anyway. So oh, there's my pencil. So just draw around it. If you do it this way, then you know it's going to match you where you've cut for those little funny flap bits. There you go. And then you know you're going to need to score here and here so that it sticks to the back of that. Your scoreboard and then just find a line. I keep the centre line marked with a Sharpie down the middle of my board, so for when I'm doing this sort of thing I can just marry it up to there. Okay. And then we're going to stick this one just on top of the other one, and this is purely just for reinforcement of those joins, and that's all it is. So stick this on. The right side goes on. So now that's double walled, so it's less likely for it to tear, or to tear easily. So there we go, and that's it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put our pattern papers and whatever we want to decorate it on. So I'll put that over there to dry. Now these are our mats and layers for the 4 sides. So you need 3 that are your base colour. If you're not wanting to see white, if you want to see white, then you can skip out cutting this legs. That can be your border, but I want to have a colour going round. So you need 3 that measure 2 3/4 by 9 inches, and that's the green part that I've got here. And then the patterned on the inside is, where have I got it at? Yeah, 2.5 by 8 3/4. So you need 3 of those, and then you need one that is 8 inches. Well, the green part's 8 inches, and it's by 2 3/4 again, and then the small part is 7 3/4 by 2.5, and that's for the pattern paper there. And then for the lid, that's 3 3/4 squared. I think it's 3 3/4. No, sorry, 2 3/4. I'm glad I'm thinking of the top bit because we scored it. So yeah, 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 for your mat, and then for your pattern paper you want it 2.5 inches squared. And then for the front flap, we've just got a little piece that measures 1 inch by 2 3/4, and then we've got a pattern paper which is 3 3/4 by 2.5. So those are all the pieces that we're going to need. So what we're going to do now, we're going to make sure that we've got our paper going the right way as we want. Now that's a short one, so that one's going to go there. I've got chaos going around my down there, that's why I'm getting a bit confused with it all. And then these ones are going to go here. And then it's going to go there. Now if you've got a directional paper and you're cutting it up, just make sure that you cut it in the right direction, so it's going to match up from what you want to do. And then that bit's going to go there. That one's going to be opposite, but there we go. So I'm going to stick all these on, and I'll be back in just a second. So those are all stuck on now, and we just need to let them dry. But what we're going to do now is I'm going to create some windows for the 2 opposite sides, obviously not the front and the back one, but these 2 opposite sides, so that you can see how many sweets are left within the little sweet box. Now, because I've done some before, I've made myself a little template. Now if you're making more than one of these, then you'll be able to do it. So what I've done is, I'm having the wider part of my window at the top, so that shows you that you've got lots and lots of sweeties left, and then as you're getting towards the bottom you've hardly got any, so that's why your window's getting. Let's go at it from this side. So I need my longer one. So on these 2 that are opposite, you want to mark 1/2 inch down from either end. Okay. So just make yourself I'm doing it on this side so that you can see what I'm doing, but when you've covered it with a pattern paper you're better off cutting on the outside. But I'm just trying to show you where I'm going, because I'll use my little template to cut them out. So I'm going straight across here. And then we need to measure what's going on there. So we've got 2 3/4 on that. So we'll go quarter and around about yeah, I sort of did it at 1 and 1 3/8, 1 3/8, I'd say, round about there. And then I think on that, if I remember right, from that line, yeah, I started at 1 centimetre in from there. So, you don't have to do it this exact size, this is just what I made up when I was doing the tester ones. Nope, I'm not going to do it from the wrong bit. Ah. There we go. And then line these up. There we go. So then you would cut out, I've gone over it now, but you'd cut out that bit there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use my template on the other side, because once you've cut out one, you've got a nice sturdy template here. So I'm going to go on the other side and I'm going to draw around them and cut them out, and I'm going to do that with my craft knife and my ruler, and once I've done that Right, so I've got those cut out now, so the next step is to put some acetate on the inside of these to create our windows. Now, if you're fairly new to crafting, you might not have any acetate. If you've got a laminator, you could put just a laminating sheet straight through the machine and it will harden up as it's coming out. Just make sure you put a piece of card on the underside of it, not in between like you usually would, just so that it feeds it through as well as it should do. I don't want none of your machines getting stuck. I've got a bit of both, to be honest. So this is what I'll use. This is just a Crafter's Companion construction acetate. So this one's got different patterns on it. So we've got some with dots, got snowflakes, and we've got some stars. Oh, some's got white and some's got silver. So let's go. We'll go with the. Let's go with the silver. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to cut two pieces of acetate that are the full size of our bottom sheets. So it needs to be 2 3/4 by 9 inches. So I'll just do that. And the reason I'm doing it the full size of the piece is just so that it's got that extra reinforcement, because we've cut into that side. It's weaker, so you're better off cutting it to that size, and then you're going to get that reinforcement back. So take it to 9 inches, and then we want 2 sections of 2 3/4. Yours doesn't have to be patterned like what mine is. You can have it just plain. Go away. I talk to my tools. You probably think I'm a bit strange doing that, but oh well. Right, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some red liner tape on, and this is what we were talking about earlier when you're constructing pieces together. Now, because we're wanting it to be solid to the triangle that we've cut out, I'm going to put a strip down either side of these, but I'm going to go around the whole outside. Tape on all the way around. I'm just going to take our acetate. Now, some acetate comes with a film on it that you can peel off afterwards, but I don't think this has got it because it's quite shiny already. So I'm just going to line this up. Now you have to be careful with this, like I said before, with red liner tape. Once it's stuck, it's stuck. So just keep. You won't be able to use a wet glue for this, or I wouldn't personally. I just like the solidness of the acetate. Just make sure you've got your acetate on the right side. There we go. So we've got our windows. Now the only thing left to do is just to decide whether you're going to put a border around the side of it. Now if you've used nesting dies and you've not cut it out this way, then you should be able to use those nesting dies to create yourself a paper border. I'm not, I'm just trying to show you it for, you know, like the minimal sort of tools that you're going to need. Now I'm going to put some peel-offs around the outside edge, so I'm going to go find my peel-offs. Now if you've not heard of peel-offs before, this is pretty much what they are. They're basically sheets of stickers, and these are border ones. You can get them in all different colours and, you know, shapes and sizes and that sort of thing, but I'm just going to stick to a nice plain one because we've got our nice clean edges going on with the triangle that's on there. So because I've gone with the silver on the acetate, I'm going to use some silver borders. On the other ones I've used the gold. Let's see if I can. No, I don't think they're going to be long enough. You need to be able to have a full length of the triangle. So you've got those. You can go with the fancier edge ones if you want, but I just want to stick to these ones. No, I'll have to go with those ones, not the other ones. So here's what they are. Now I've found with peel-offs they don't stick for very long. I find, I don't know whether if it's to do with the temperature in a room and when it dries up and things like that. So what I do now when I'm using border peel-offs is I put a line of glue where I'm going to be putting them. So this is the same glue that I've been using to construct it. It's just in a smaller bottle with a needle pin applicator in the end. Now, so you don't go and get glue all over yourself while you're doing it, if you choose to do it this way. Just do one edge at a time. Oh, these are really, really fine ones. Right. If you're struggling to get them off like what I am, you just take some tweezers, take it off. Sorry for the loud banging. And then I'm just lining it up to the edge. So any sort of fuzziness that's left over from where you've cut it is hidden. So which is pretty much all that we're doing. Just snip it up. That's gone flying, it'll get stuck on me somewhere. And then I'm going to do the same. Leftover bits, the short ones, you can use that for the wider part. So if you used them for something else and you just cut a section off, don't throw it away, save it, and then it'll come in handy for times like these. Okay, and then I've got that little bit left over that I'll just put on to my card just in case. So I'm going to crack on and do the other one. decorative parts done. So what we're going to do now is stick it together. So if you just fold over this one side that's got the sticking flap that we've got here, that's got the pointy bit at the end. So if you fold that over there, and in fact, because we've got the acetate there, I'm going to put a line of red liner tape just down this bottom edge. Now just double check that when you've been putting these, I have to just do a bit of reburnishing while you're doing it, because it's going to go over there. Now as you can see, that little flap there's going to be sticking out once we stick it down. So I'm just going to take a bit off. You actually don't want to be seeing it through your window when you've done all that work. A little bit more. Now if you've not put the window in, then you won't have this as an issue. And there we are, that's what we can do. So just going to put a little bit of glue going along here so it sticks right up to the edge. But because of the acetate, I'm putting a line of the red liner on like just find my needle tool. Come on. Now, if your tape does that, just give it a good rub down. So this is the thing with acetate. I'm trying to find the right thing that's going to stick it down now. The red liner tape should hold it together now. So, got that. And there. Let's get it up. There we go. So we've got our box going on there. And now what we need to do is put this part into here. And this is what these little bits are going to do. They're going to fold down into there and stay in. So what you have to do is just try and see how far it's going to come down. So the cardboard slots needs to come open wide enough for you to be able to get your sweets out. So if you stand it up this way, and you can see what sort of gap there is. When it's closed, it will go like this, so it'll be all up. Get it back in there. And then it will open out just like that. So I think that's just about right. So what we need to do is not put glue onto these ones, because these need to be able to move. So I'm just going to use my red liner tape again, and this is purely because we've got the acetate stuck to the sides that it's going to be going on. To get our flaps up, make sure that they're on the inside. Right, it's going to be a little bit awkward showing you how to do this, but you need to be able to get these flaps on the inside so they're not sticking out, because once you've got it stuck, there's not much you can do about it. So the easiest way to do it, if you can line up the lines here, make sure that they're where that they're supposed to be before you do any pressing down. Just make sure you've got all your right angles properly, and just put it side, and then just press down on those pieces that we've just put that tape on. There we go. So that will open and close to let the sweets in and out, and then this is just for our lid. You just need to tuck that in there. That's all we need to do. Now the last little bit that you can do is you could always make a little velcro stopper to stop anything coming out if you want. Now you just use some of these little sticky back velcro dots, but what you can do is you can just make a little handle for opening and closing it. So what I'm going to do is I've just got this, I think it's a 1-inch circle punch. Smaller piece. If you're wondering why I'm leaning over, I have a box with all my offcuts on at the side of my desk, and when it gets a bit full I eventually go and put it into the leftovers box that I've got at the other end of the room, because I can't throw it away. I'm a terrible hoarder when it comes to anything like this. So I'm just going to cut a couple of circles. So rather than having the red on the outside, so we know that that's going to be the plan, we're just going to stick these two together. Probably not flap it over and put the glue onto your mat. This is just to make it more sturdy. And then final thing, so I'm just going to stick it onto here. So if you're putting your velcro dot on, well, you'd only need half of your velcro dot. I'd say wait until this is dried, and then have I put them? Oh, sorry. So I'm just going to show you how to do it. I can't do it because I've got to let that dry. But all I would do is just take one of these little dots and cut it in half. Save that one for doing another one, and then just peel the back off. This is totally optional, you can just use it just with that as the little handle, but I want to show you different options. Now I'm not going to be pressing it down where it needs to go, but I'm just going to pop that on the underside of the circle, and then once this is fully dried I'll peel the back off of this one, I'll close the drawer, and it will be set in place. And that's our sweet dispenser done. So I hope that's made some sort of sense, and you're inspired to go and have a go at making one yourself. I'm making quite a few of these for my son's Christmas fair, so yeah, I've got quite a few of them going on at the moment. So if you've got any questions, pop them in the comments, I'll be happy to answer them. And if you've liked the video, if you could give me a big thumbs up, that'd be appreciated. And if you've not subscribed, if you consider subscribing, that'd be appreciated too. So thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.